They laughed at him openly, not behind his back, not quietly. They laughed to his face. He was young, poor, invisible, the kind of person people overlook without guilt. When he spoke, no one listened. When he tried, no one believed. And when he volunteered to do what no one else could, the humiliation became entertainment. But what they didn't understand was this: strength doesn't always look loud. Power doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one who changes everything. This is a story about patience, dignity, and the kind of courage that survives mockery. If you've ever been underestimated, if you've ever been laughed at for believing in yourself, stay until the end. Before we continue, like, subscribe, and share this video. It helps this message reach people who feel unseen. Now, stay with the full story. His name was Noah Reed, and he was 19 years old. Noah lived on the edge of a wide rural valley where work was scarce and mercy even scarcer. His parents were gone by the time he finished school, leaving him a small wooden shack, a worn bed, and a silence that felt heavier at night. He didn't inherit land. He didn't inherit tools. He inherited responsibility too early. To survive, Noah did whatever work appeared: carrying grain, repairing fences, cleaning barns. Most days, payment came in leftovers or a few coins. Some nights, hunger followed him to sleep. But Noah had something most people didn't notice: patience. He had grown up around animals. His father taught him that fear makes creatures violent, and calm makes them listen. Nothing wild wants to fight, his father used to say. It just wants to feel safe. That lesson stayed. One morning, after walking miles under the sun, Noah reached a large estate owned by Mr. Caldwell, a man known for his temper and pride. The farm was impressive: tall fences, massive barns, workers everywhere. Noah asked for work. Caldwell barely looked at him. "Talk to the foreman," he said coldly. Work began the next day. Before sunrise, Noah swept yards, hauled water, fed animals, and kept his head down. He didn't complain. He didn't ask questions. He just worked. Weeks passed. Noah noticed something the others ignored. A massive young stallion kept locked away. The animal was strong, restless, and furious. Anyone who approached it left with bruises or broken confidence. Trainers came and went. Whips cracked. Voices rose. The stallion only grew worse. People cursed it. Noah watched quietly. He didn't see madness. He saw fear. And deep down, he felt something familiar.
The stallion became the center of daily frustration on the farm. Men gathered around the enclosure, shouting instructions, tightening ropes, cracking whips against the air. Each failed attempt fed the same conclusion: the animal is broken, too aggressive, useless. Mr. Caldwell's patience thinned with every failure. Each day, the stallion grew more violent. Each day, the men grew more afraid, and fear always returned as cruelty. Noah watched from a distance, carrying feed sacks, fixing posts, pretending not to listen. But he listened. He listened to the way the stallion's hooves struck the ground, not in rage, but in panic. He listened to the breath, fast, uneven, desperate. This wasn't rebellion. It was survival. One afternoon, after another trainer was thrown into the dirt, Mr. Caldwell exploded. "I've had enough," he shouted. "If this beast can't be controlled, it's useless. I'll work it until it breaks or sell it to whoever wants the trouble." Laughter followed, bitter, dismissive. Noah felt something tighten in his chest. He saw the stallion trembling, eyes wide, trapped in a world that only spoke to it through force. Without thinking too much, Noah stepped forward. "Sir," he said quietly. The yard went silent. Caldwell turned slowly, annoyed. "What do you want?"
Noah lowered his gaze but didn't retreat. "I think yelling makes it worse. Maybe it just needs time." The laughter came fast and loud. "You?" Caldwell scoffed. "You can't even afford proper boots." The humiliation burned. "Are you a trainer now?" someone joked. Noah swallowed. "I'm not, but I could try, just once." Caldwell laughed again, but this time it carried pride. "Fine," he said loudly, so everyone could hear. "I'll make it interesting." He pointed at the stallion. "If you can calm that animal within a week, I'll give you a share of this farm." Gasps followed. "And if you fail," Caldwell added, smiling thinly, "you're gone." The deal wasn't fair. It wasn't kind. It was a setup. But Noah nodded. He didn't smile. He didn't boast. He simply said, "I accept." And just like that, the laughter stopped. Because confidence that doesn't explain itself makes people uneasy.
Noah asked for one condition. "Let me work alone," he said. "No shouting, no whips, no audience." That made the men laugh again. They thought he was afraid of embarrassment. In truth, he was protecting the process. Because the rule Noah followed wasn't about animals, it was about fear. Fear cannot be dominated. Fear can only be calmed. The first day, Noah didn't touch the stallion. He entered the enclosure slowly and sat on the ground, far enough not to threaten it. He spoke softly, not commands, not encouragement, just presence. The stallion circled him, snorted, kicked the dirt. Noah didn't move. He understood something most people ignored. Before obedience comes safety. For hours he stayed there, breathing evenly, letting the animal decide the distance. When the stallion finally stopped pacing, Noah left. The second day he stood closer. Still no rope, still no saddle, just calm words and patience. The animal tested him, sudden movements, false charges, but Noah didn't react. No punishment, no retreat. Fear looks for reaction. When it doesn't find one, it weakens. By the third day, the stallion allowed Noah to stand within arm's reach. The men whispered from afar, "He'll be crushed. He's wasting time." But Noah wasn't training muscles. He was rewiring trust. On the fourth day, Noah placed a rope around the stallion's neck, loosely, gently. The animal resisted, then stopped. No force followed. That confused it. By the fifth day, the stallion walked beside Noah, not because it was forced, but because it wasn't afraid anymore. And that was the forgotten rule. What force breaks, patience builds. Most people try to control through pressure, but pressure only creates resistance. Calm creates cooperation. Noah didn't win by strength. He won by refusing to escalate fear. By the sixth day, the farm felt different. Not quieter, tenser. People slowed their work just to watch from a distance. No one laughed anymore. The jokes had dried up, replaced by disbelief. Noah arrived before sunrise. He stood beside the stallion in silence, resting his hand lightly on its neck. The animal breathed steadily now. Its eyes no longer rolled in panic. Its muscles were still powerful, but no longer locked in defense. Trust had taken root. Slowly, carefully, Noah introduced the saddle. The stallion resisted, not violently, instinctively. It jumped once, circled twice, tested the unfamiliar weight. Noah fell, hard. Dust filled his mouth, pain shot through his back. From the fence, laughter tried to return. "Told you," someone shouted. Noah stood up slowly, brushing dirt from his shirt. He didn't look angry. He didn't rush. He walked back,
placed his forehead gently against the stallion's neck, and spoke softly. "I'm still here." That mattered. Fear expects abandonment after mistakes. When it doesn't come, fear weakens. The stallion calmed again. On the 7th morning, the sky was pale and still. Noah tightened the saddle one last time. He rested his hand on the animal, breathed once, then mounted. The stallion exploded into motion, power, speed, dust. For a moment it looked like chaos. Then something shifted. The movement slowed, the jumps shortened, the animal listened. Noah guided, not forced. When the stallion finally circled the yard calmly, silence fell over the farm. Mr. Caldwell stepped forward, stunned. No whips, no shouting, no domination, just calm. Noah dismounted, exhausted, bruised, smiling quietly. The stallion lowered its head beside him. Respect, earned, not demanded. Caldwell swallowed hard. He had mocked patience, and patience had won. Noah stood there in the quiet aftermath, dust still hanging in the air. For the first time since he arrived at that farm, no one laughed, no one spoke. The men who had mocked him now avoided his eyes. The trainers who had relied on force stood still, unsure of what they had just witnessed. Mr. Caldwell stepped forward slowly. His pride had brought him here, and now his pride had been humbled. He looked at the stallion, calm, steady, breathing beside the young man he once dismissed, and understood something he had forgotten long ago. Strength does not come from pressure. Control does not come from fear, and authority built on humiliation always collapses. Caldwell kept his word. He had to, not because he wanted to, but because the truth had been exposed in front of everyone. Noah didn't celebrate. He didn't boast. He didn't remind anyone of their laughter. He simply nodded. Because people who grow through patience don't need revenge. They need space. From that day on, Noah worked the land differently. Animals trusted him. People listened when he spoke, not because he raised his voice, but because he never wasted it. And the stallion? It was no longer called wild or broken. It was called loyal. The moral of this story is simple and uncomfortable. What fear cannot fix, force will destroy. What patience touches, it transforms. Humiliation is often the test before growth. Silence is often the shield before victory. If you've been laughed at, if your way seems too calm for a loud world, if your patience has been mistaken for weakness, remember Noah. The ones who mock today rarely understand tomorrow. Before you leave, like, subscribe, and share this video. It helps stories like this reach people who are quietly enduring. And remember this advice: true power never needs to shout.